I'm a 46-year-old mom of two teenage daughters, 17 and 15. We've been through hell this past year. My ex-husband died suddenly in an accident. Normally, people mourn and pull together after something like that. But in our case, his death uncovered layer after layer of betrayal. Because while he was married to me, he was also cheating. And not just a fling. He had two sons with his affair partner. When he and that woman died in the accident, those little boys were left orphans. And that's when my ex-in-laws, the grandparents, decided to swoop in like vultures. They wanted custody of my daughters. They wanted to move in with us. They wanted to pretend my girls didn't just lose their father to both death and betrayal. Fast forward to my youngest birthday. We went to a weekend market, fresh veggies, homemade pies, stalls with sweets. I gave her a budget and told her, "It's your day. Buy whatever makes you happy." She came back with armfuls of chocolate. But then my phone rang. Her voice was trembling. "Mom, there are people yelling at me. I don't know what to do." I ran. My oldest ran with me. And there she was, my birthday girl, red-faced, shaking, trapped by 6 older women. These weren't strangers. I recognized some of them. My ex-mother-in-law's church friends. They were cornering her, hissing about how she was a bad sister for not embracing her father's orphan-loved children, how she was unchristian for not spending time with her grandparents. My heart dropped. My blood boiled. I pushed my way in, told my older daughter, "Take your sister, pay for the sweets, get to the car." Then I turned on those women. Their eyes were cold, self-righteous. They said I was disobedient, that I was failing as a Christian wife, a wife to a man who was dead, by the way. They screeched until the market security forced us all to leave. And as I walked to the car with my daughters, those 6 vultures followed us, screaming, mocking, shaming. That's when I knew this wasn't just about grief anymore. This was war. Discovering the lies. That night, after tucking my daughters into bed, I logged online. A church friend of mine messaged me, embarrassed, apologizing. He explained everything. My ex-MIL had posted a sob story in her church's Facebook group. She painted herself and her husband as victims, homeless, penniless, abandoned by their cruel daughter-in-law and ungrateful granddaughters. She even claimed my daughters were refusing to love their baby brothers. But she didn't stop there. No, she got creative. She rewrote history. She told the entire church that my husband's affair partner wasn't a mistress, but a surrogate, that those 2 boys were somehow mine and my ex's children, and that I rejected them because they were boys. My stomach turned. To paint me as a monster who hated babies because of their gender? To turn my daughters into villains in the middle of their trauma? No, absolutely not. This was a moment, the line in the sand. She had attacked my kids publicly, twisted the truth, weaponized religion. What she didn't know was that I still had everything. Every photo, every text, every confession, every disgusting message where she and her husband bullied my daughters, calling them bastards and blaming them for their father's death, just days after he died. And if her church wanted to play judge and jury, fine, I would give them the evidence. The next morning, I drove to a print shop. I printed everything in full, high-quality color. Photos of my ex cheating on me in our living room. Screenshots of his text to his mistress. Messages where his parents admitted knowing and supporting the affair. Screenshot of their harassment of me and my daughters. And then I got creative. I put them together in binders. But not just any binders. I designed them to look just like the churches in books. The same little packets they handed out every Sunday. And right there on the first page, a giant photo of my ex and his mistress making out on my couch. Underneath, the love story of ex's name and affair partner's name. I drove to the church, quietly slipped the binders onto the back table with the other songbooks, and walked away. By Monday, the gossip mill was in full swing. The Facebook group exploded. The words they used to describe my ex and his mistress? Let's just say even the pastor had to step in to keep things PG. My ex-in-laws were roasted alive in the comments. People were furious at how they treated my daughters. And the cherry on top, they couldn't spin it. The photos were undeniable. The texts were damning. Their lies crumbled in front of the very people they used to control. Yes, the church still judged me for filing for divorce. But suddenly, I wasn't the villain anymore. I was the woman who fell from grace after being betrayed. People even sent apology letters to my daughters. Some invited us back for support. But my ex-in-laws, they were done. Shunned. Shamed. My ex-in-law even posted on her personal wall, crying about how no one cares for the elderly anymore, and how she wished her great son was still alive to take care of them. Oh, please. My ex couldn't even take care of himself, let alone his parents. I was the breadwinner of the whole marriage. Without me, they had nothing, and now they had no church either. That's the thing about lies. They work until they don't. She weaponized her church. She tried to weaponize my daughter's pain. And I made sure the truth hit her like a thunderbolt, straight from the pulpit. She thought her church would be her army. Instead, they became her executioners. Revenge doesn't erase betrayal. It doesn't make the trauma disappear. But in this case, it gave my daughters something priceless, validation, proof that their grandmother's cruelty wasn't just in their heads, and the peace of knowing justice, even church justice, was finally on their side. If this story gave you goosebumps, smash that like button and tell me in the comments, what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever seen? And of course, subscribe for more true stories of karma hitting harder than a Sunday sermon. Because sometimes the sweetest hymns are sung when the liars finally fall silent.